Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. It's the morning sprint. Alex Ryanemi alongside the coach, Mike Sanford. And typically on Mondays at 10:45, we are joined by another coach, Chris Armas of the Colorado Rapids, coming off of a loss against DC. But coach, you weren't there in person. We have something in common. You, Coach Sanford, myself, all coaches in some respect at certain levels, and yours is far higher than anything that I ever did. But now we have something that I don't think we'll ever have in common. Congratulations on being inducted to the National Soccer Hall of Fame over the weekend in Frisco, Texas. Tell me what that means to you, what it meant to your family, and how that process went along.
Oh, listen, it's for my extended family, my brothers, my mother. My father passed away a few years ago, but for what it meant for all of us, my uncles and cousins, my children, it just means they get to see me in a light, and my accomplishment in that moment is their accomplishment. They were part of the journey. So it's a bit uncomfortable to be in that spotlight, but they remind you that you were a great player and you were part of great teams, and yet you played the game the right way. So it was incredible experience. U.S. Soccer did it right.
I always have or hear these conversations from professional, whether it's athletes or coaches, that always go, well, my kids never got to see me perform at my best, never got to see me perform when I was in the middle of my playing days. It's a little bit different for you, where sure, your playing days were before the kids, at least I'm assuming here, before the kids were able to truly appreciate what you'd done as an athlete, but now you're in the middle of your prime as a head coach. How does bringing those two things together, how did they accept that? How did they see that?
Well, I always knew my kids were very young, three, 4, 5, 6 years old when I was a player. And I knew for sure, real time, what I was doing on the pitch would later be realized by them from how people spoke about me, from maybe listening to me do an interview, watching some footage of me playing, just knowing that their father carried himself the right way, was part of good teams, respected the game. And so real time, I was always knowing later on I will be an example for my boys. As a coach now, forget it. These guys, my son Chris was learning the scouting last year with us. He's 23 years old, and he would drive home with me every day and say, "Dad, I can't believe it. You're amazing. How you ran that video meeting. Training was great." So he's getting to see me as the leader, the person running an organization on the football side over here. And I don't take that lightly. I always know my son's watching. So again, I'm just mindful of how I carry myself, just setting a good example for those guys.
Coach, these are major, major benchmark moments in a life to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I personally, as a coach, have also gone through some benchmark moments where I had the birth of a child around a team flight. In fact, it was I was coaching at Notre Dame as the offensive coordinator, and my wife was in labor for 40 hours. So I missed the team flight. Tell me what it was like. What was going through your mind as you saw, everything kind of going down, and the day of your game, and trying to fit it all in with the induction.
Listen, the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame, the committee, everyone on board, they changed the order of the speakers and the recipients. They let me go first. They got me in, they got me out. The car was waiting right to the airport, TSA right through. I had an hour to spare. I mean, we did all we could do. The plane taxied out, sat there for a little bit. There was some maintenance issues with the communication within the cockpit. They said, "Oh, there was static in the headsets, whatever." We moved back. We got to go back to the gate. Everyone off the plane, change planes, wait 45 minutes. By the time the plane would have flew, I would have missed the entire game and some. I decided to call US Soccer. I'm coming back to the hotel. They set up a room for me, like a workstation, big TV, white paper on the boards, markers. I worked the game from the hotel as if I was upstairs, at the stadium. So part of the decisions, part of all this stuff, but not the same. And quite honestly, for me, but yeah, I'm obviously very disappointed that it went this way. It felt like I let my team down in some ways, because I was 50-50 on whether to go to the Hall of Fame induction. To be honest, I didn't want to not be able to do my job, but I did coach the game from afar in many ways, and that was the day.
Have you seen the team physically since then?
This morning I'll see him for the first time.
You think they're going to give you a little bit of guff for missing the game?
I don't think so. I don't think they will. These guys, great guys. I mean, I hope I get a little bit of stick from them, but I will apologize to them in person. But who knows?
No, no
Coach,
apologies needed for being inducted into a Hall of Fame, and obviously only 34 matches during the year. Like everyone certainly matters as much as the next, but you'll have another opportunity coming up on the 10th when you're back at home at Dick's Sporting Goods to get back into the win column and continue your climb up the table in the Western Conference. Have you ever had a scenario where you've been connected to a team either as a player or as a coach where you have not been able to be actively involved? And I know you said you had a remote station where you're able to talk with your staff and stuff like that. Is that the first time you've ever gone through something like that?
First time. I've never even gotten a red card as a coach. So I've always been able to fulfill my duties right there and then the way I would want to. So no circumstance like this, let alone not even being on the sideline.
Coach, when you look at the table, and especially the Western Conference, dropping all the way down to roughly the 8th spot, but yet you are 3 points away right now from the 2nd spot in the Western Conference. How big of an opportunity awaits you against San Jose, a team that's kind of in that same space of 13 points in the table, and getting back at Dick's Sporting Goods and having an opportunity to do that?
Yeah, listen, we're hungry. We wish this game was this Wednesday. Like we feel like we've just left points out on the table in a really honest way. Home against Seattle, we battered them in many ways, and we don't get all the points. At Houston, 90 seconds away from all the points we draw. This game, we score late in the first half, right before halftime. We're up 1-0 in a tough game. They're desperate. We go into halftime down 2-1. We don't deal with 2 crosses. So the good news is that we think that no one's outplayed us. Like we're in every game. The challenge is that we got to get the points. And now Saturday night at home, San Jose, they coming in with a 4-1 victory against Portland, really good team. But we're home, and we're gonna get ready to rock. We gotta do it.
Coach, you mentioned that you had your command center in Dallas for the game against DC United. What did that look like in terms of who was the bench boss, and then how were you communicating? Was it via text? Was it in terms of making substitutions and stuff along those lines?
Yeah, I had 2 screens on. One was like on Apple TV, the regular TV footage. One screen had the tactical footage that our video analysts, they're videoing from up high. I can see everybody, 22 players at one time. I'm on the phone on just a headset, just with my assistant coach. Sometimes I'll hang up, call the video analyst because they're just both up there, and I don't want to hear all the noise, so I just call one person. But Chris Little, my first assistant, took the reins on the day. I didn't speak with him. We're communicating through other people with each other, and yeah, just very calm, just constant communication, almost essentially on a phone call with the guys up top, which is what they do from up top to the bench. So I'm in the loop on during the game.
Did you find yourself more animated? I don't know if anxious is the right word, but more animated or anxious while being away from the pitch and coaching a game, or when you're actually on the sideline in the battle?
I felt calmer in terms of you don't get the energy of the game. So that part I felt disconnected. So in almost a good way where you can just have a bird's eye view, but now disconnect like the ability. I'm saying, come on, get up. The guy needs some urging. You got to talk to the guys.
You're pacing around the room.
I'm trying to bring energy to a phone call that can transfer to the pitch. That's not always easy, right? So if I'm there, I can call a center back's game. I can call and transfer the energy straight away. So it was a little bit good in some ways, bird's eye view, calm, but not always the best ability to transfer it quickly.
Darren Yappy with the goal right before halftime. Player that just continues to surge forward in what just his third year in MLS. And Darren Yappy, how important is he to the attack and physical presence, ability to run and hunt balls, but also to play physical within the box?
Yeah, I think it's just been giving us a different look, a different ability to play vertical, different ability to play direct and challenge opposition's back lines. Takes pressure off Rafa Navarro, right? Another striker there, big presence, can mix it up with other teams' back lines. It frees Rafa up. They connected on the goal in a nice one. So I think there's been a lot of positives with that one. It also, with Yappy and Rafa up top, it helps our pressing. You have two guys that are very energetic and athletic and can repeat, that can initiate our press. So yeah, it's been a nice addition for Yappy. I'm happy that he's contributing with some goals, and he's showing real maturity in a relatively young guy.
Rapids and San Jose Saturday at 7:30, Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Listen throughout the show. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to win a pair of tickets to go see Coach Chris Armas and his Colorado Rapids. Again, Saturday at 7:30 is that kickoff time. Coach, a heartfelt congratulations from both myself and Mike Sanford, the Hall of Famer, Chris Armas. Congrats, Coach, and we can't wait to see you guys get back at it on Saturday.
Means a lot, guys. Thank you so much.
Coach, and Hall of Fame, Coach. We'll take a quick break here. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Back in a few minutes.